eventful year for the entire globe, not only for Kenya. We witnessed a lot of geopolitical shocks. We witnessed the multilateral rules-based trading system getting challenged. We also witnessed that the world was moving into a new order, a new trading order, and that new trading order was less multilateralism and more bilateralism. We saw that with all the trade agreements that were being signed by the EU with India, UK with India, Canada, India. So there's a lot of reorientation of global markets that are going on right now. And Kenya has not been spared as well. We've seen sustained pressure from all these external shocks. But as a country, like Carol said, we've managed to navigate the turbulent waters and stay focused and managed it quite well with resilience. We also saw in the early part of this year the attacks on the Red Sea. Shipping maritimes were all in jeopardy. We saw the transit times for our exports to Europe extend from 20-25 days to 40-45 days, directly impacting our exports in the tea shipments in the region, and taking a cost increase of about 35% at the bare minimum. By April 2026, the cascading effect had left 100 billion shillings worth of tea, flowers, and meat exports stranded in logistical limbo. Floriculture firms suffered weekly losses of approximately $1.4 million due to the spoilage. The Mombasa tea auction, recorded its worst performance in the memory, and that was 27% of our tea by June 2026 remained unsold, which is very unfortunate, but this, with a newly introduced 0.8% export levy, eroding the export competitiveness of this product. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz didn't help. And we saw, following the escalation of the Iran war in March 2026, the disrupted fuel supplies and impacted raw materials. Kenya Association of Manufacturers survey found that 78.6% of the firms were affected by the crisis, with an average delivery timelines nearly doubling from 28 days to 59 days. Pump prices for fuel in Nairobi reached 214 and 233 for diesel by May 2026. Yet the private sector held on and showed its resilience. As a board, we watched with respect as members absorbed these compounding shocks, protected jobs, and kept faith with their customers. This year sharpened our understanding of Kepsa's indispensable role. The board kept the organization's compass fixed on the 2023-2027 business strategy. The World Bank sees Kenya's growing an average of 4.9% right up to 2027, but the optimism sits along uncomfortable realities. A widening fiscal deficit, a public debt of 68.8% to GDP, and the country still flagged at high risk of debt distress. Our oversight duties led us beyond spreadsheets. We pushed management to harder times and harder matters. Are we shielding members from effectively fiscal tightening? Is every platform we maintain returning measurable value? Are we agile enough for what comes next? We take quite pride in Kepsa's steady leadership voice. The CEO statement details the year's policies, the wins, the pragmatic outcomes. What the board observed was different: a consistency of purpose, a willingness to bring unlikely partners of the same table, and an institutional steadiness that preserved trust across government when the trust was fragile. In a climate where business confidence could have easily shattered, Kepsa held the line. Governance received deliberate attention. The board oversaw the appointment of new directors and sector board leaders for the term 2025-2027, deliberately widening representation into a more women, younger voices, and perspectives from outside the capital. ICC Kenya also completed its own governance refresh, installing Julia Supio as a chairperson and Farida Abbas as the first vice chairperson, alongside the creation of a dedicated vice chair role to strengthen the oversight. Institutional resilience was never an abstract concept this year. Kepsa kept its finances disciplined, even as donor programs wound down, the economic headwinds intensified. Management held a firm recruitment freeze, redirected resources to priority areas, and kept the organization lean without breaking delivery. Our Finance and Audit Committee stayed vigilant. The full board maintained a steady rhythm on engagements of risk, accountability, and the long arc of sustainability, especially urgent given Kenya's elevated debt vulnerability. We also leaned into Kepsa's responsibility as a thought leader. The board contributed directly to national consultations, helped shape policy positions, and stood behind the National Business Agenda 4, the document that will guide private sector engagement with Vision 2030 and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda through the remainder of the decade. Looking ahead, Kenya will hold its general elections next year in August, on 10th of August 2027, now just over a year away, literally 14 months away. And Kepsa engaged the IEBC in April this year for advocating for a free, fair, and credible election outcome. And of course, our strong partnership with them through Kenya Daima. The approaching election cycle brings uncertainty and opportunity for the private sector. History has shown that election periods can disrupt supply chains, slow decision-making in government, and create policy vacuums. But they also offer a chance to demand accountability, to insist on issue-based discourse, and to remind every candidate that a stable, predictable business environment is the foundation of prosperity. The World Bank's 4.9% growth projection through 2027 is attainable only if the transition remains peaceful, if policies remain consistent, and if the private sector is treated not as an adversary but a partner in national development. The board fully supports Kepsa's Kenya Daima platform chaired by my friend here. And this platform is the vehicle for keeping the private sector's voice steady, constructive, influential throughout the election period. We urge every member to engage actively, not as partisans, but as defenders of the economic stability and responsibility of citizenship. As we close this financial year, we express a deep appreciation to our members and the steadfast trust and support to the Kepsa membership, management and staff for their dedication and professionalism under sustained pressure, and to our partners in the public and developmental sectors for their continued collaboration. The progress made between June 2025 and May 2026 is a result of consistent leadership, committed members, and a shared belief that the private sector can and must lead Kenya's path to prosperity. The board is confident in direction we are taking and remains committed to supporting Kepsa's mission with integrity, accountability, and vision.